Welcome to another special episode of the program Improve Seeds on, of course, your first agricultural television in Nigeria, ARCN, in the capital city of Abuja. I am Hilda himself, Antonio Numa, host, and of course, I have my usual guest who is never tired of being with us here and exploring a lot of things, a lot of topics about agriculture and about improved varieties of crops and of course better ways of improving our production, that is our farm production. He is a consultant, he is an agric consultant, he is also an agric officer. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back and of course I'll tell you who he is. Welcome back. Yeah, as before I went on the break, I told you that I have an agri consultant and an agri officer who is vast in agriculture and he's ever ready to help us explore a lot of things. He is Mr. Lawal Olushola Lawal.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good day, Nigerians, and it's my pleasure to be here again talking about agriculture and how we can push forward the narrative of ensuring food security in Nigeria. So it's my pleasure to be here.
I told you he's an expert in it. Of course, today we're going to talk about oil palm. Oil palm cultivation, is one of the fast-growing farm cultivation, farm processing in Nigeria, and a lot of people are going back into it because of the health value and other things. We can get it and process it locally. So, sir, can you tell us how do you process, or what is the process of oil palm?
Yeah. First and foremost, oil palm is one of the uncommon economic crop we have in Nigeria, and it's on its own class because it is zero waste crop, which means everything about the crop is useful. So, and it's the only crop you can have two different type of oil. It's the only plant known to man that can supply you with two different kind of oil.
Wow.
No other crop can do that. It's an economic crop. It's an industrial crop. It can also be regarded as an oil crop. It can be regarded as a food crop. So you can see it wears so many caps. And talking about oil palm itself, it's a tree crop. It's a perennial crop, and it has a lifespan that is more than 60 years. Though its productive lifespan is around 30 to 35.
Okay.
After 35 years, the productivity will tend to reduce.
So when you talk about production, is it from the day we plant it or from the moment it starts fruiting?
Yeah, the moment it starts fruiting is a perennial crop, because it's a tree crop. It's not something like a food crop like all this annual or all this short-term crop that you plant and in months you start harvesting. It's a tree crop. It will take time, like 2 to 3 years before it starts fruiting. So, but from the moment it starts fruiting, it can produce you with product for over 60 years, over 70 years. But its productive lifespan is around 30 to 35. After 35 years, the productivity will tend to reduce. So having said that, it's a very, very wonderful crop. And in the 60s, Nigeria used to be the largest exporter of palm oil. And one thing with palm oil, people make that mistake with palm oil. It's only in most part of Africa we hit the palm oil. Palm oil is actually a base product. From palm oil you can get more than 13 products. Yeah, more than 13 products. And from palm oil itself, The normal vegetable oil we eat in the market, that is where they get it from.
Vegetable oil?
The normal vegetable oil. Whenever you see vegetable oil and they didn't label it as soya bean oil, canola oil, coconut oil, they didn't label it, they just say vegetable oil.
It's coming from palm oil?
It's palm oil.
Wow.
There's something we call RBDO. It's called refined, bleached, and deodorized palm oil. It's just palm oil, they remove the color and you have your vegetable oil. So when you get home, you can check maybe King's oil or Power oil. You will see palm olein. The ingredient is palm olein. It's from palm oil. So having said that, it has a whole lot of economic value it can offer. And this crop, considering the fact that it's a native of the coast of West Africa, that is where it was first discovered. The original home is within the coast of West Africa, the coast of Nigeria, between Nigeria and Ghana. That is where the origin is. Some other countries, like in the Southeast Asia, where we're talking about Indonesia, Malaysia, they've actually taken advantage, the economic advantage of this crop more than we Nigerians.
Wow.
In Indonesia, for example, they've successfully used palm oil or oil palm crop to lift over 2 million households out of poverty. And is a major contributor to their economy. Just like crude oil is to Nigeria.
Yeah.
They are using money gotten from oil palm to sustain their economy. So that is to show you how massive this crop is. Another thing is that it has so many uses.
Okay.
You have palm oil from it. You have palm kernel oil. Palm kernel oil is the oil getting from the kernel. And I can tell you categorically that majority of the cosmetic industry, those people producing cream, producing soaps, they cannot do production without palm kernel oil. It's a major ingredient in their production, whether cream, whether soap, whether any other cosmetics. Even the natural lipstick we have, the base they use in producing it is palm oil. So after the production, after the extraction of palm kernel oil, we still have palm kernel cake. Palm kernel cake can be fed to animals, like pig, like cattle. After the extraction of that, we have the shell itself. The shell can be converted into like a biogas, or you can use it to produce brisket, charcoal. All these charcoal cubes they use in frying barbecue and in burning some other things in the developed world. Because in the developed world, they don't cut trees to produce charcoal. They use shell of coconut or shell of palm kernel to produce coconut. So it's a very, very wonderful product. And with just like 3-4 acres of it, if you have it, it's something that can sustain you for a lifetime.
All right. Now, how do you start?
Okay. So starting an oil palm farm,
yes,
you need the land. And I want to state this fact categorically that it's a tree crop, and majority of the tree crop we have, they are sensitive to agroclimatic condition. They cannot be grown everywhere. So, but in Nigeria, as an example, oil palm can be grown in around 20 to 21 states. Anywhere beyond southern Kaduna, it will not do well. It's not that it will not grow. It will grow. It will grow vegetatively, but productively it will not produce well. It's just like somebody bringing a date palm. Date palm is a desert crop. You can only grow it from Jigawa, Kano upward. If you bring it down south, where we have too much of rain, you bring it to places like Bayelsa, too much water, it will grow vegetatively, but it will not produce because the condition is not favorable to it. So you have to get a land where oil palm will thrive. So make sure you don't have your land above Kaduna State. So Kaduna down.
Oh, down.
Kaduna down. So from Kaduna down, you can do oil palm. And it's a crop, it's a plantation crop, which means it requires land. Because it's a tree crop, the spacing is quite wide. The spacing for oil palm is 9 meter by 9 meter. That's quite a whole lot of land. So on an hectare, you have 145. But the most important thing, if you want to do oil palm, you've gotten your land in a good location. You've gotten a land that is not waterlogged. You've gotten a land that is not rocky. It's not a rocky terrain, and it's not too slopey.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Then
fertile.
what is the best land?
Yeah,
What's the best land?
Those are the best.
Oh, for you.
Make sure the land is not waterlogged.
Okay.
It's not a rocky terrain, and it's not slopey.
Okay.
And make sure it's fertile.
It's fertile.
Yeah, so you are good to go. But oil palm is not something you just take the seed and go and plant on your farm. You have to nurse it in a nursery. It's either you nurse it in a nursery yourself, or you buy a mature seedling. A seedling that is above 9 months old. Those are the ones you take to your farm, then you plant. So on an hectare, for example, you need 145 trees. So having planted your oil palm seedlings, you have to be taking care of the farm. You don't just abandon it. Applying fertilizer when necessary, applying pesticide when you see some pests around, and you wait for 2 years, 2-3 years. After 2-3 years, you see all those bunches coming out, and that is money. Oil palm is regarded as the only crop, the only tree that have money growing on it. So it's so enormous.
True. Do we have improved variety of the plants?
Yeah, it's whenever you are doing something like this, it's advisable you plant the improved variety.
Okay.
So because with improved variety, you'll be able to save yourself some kind of stress. We have two natural forms of oil palm, which is the Dura and the Piscifera. But with the intervention of NIFO and some other research institutes in Nigeria, for example, they've been able to develop an hybrid we call Tenera. Tenera is a crossbreed of Dura and Piscifera. And with the production of Tenera, you'll be able to cut down the waiting period. Because actually, if you are planting the local variety, which is the Dura, on your farm, you'll be waiting for like 5 to 7 years before you see your first fruit.
Wow.
So planting the hybrid, which is the Tenera, will save you around 5 to 4 years. So in 3 years, you are guaranteed that your tree will start fruiting. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is that the oil content of the bunches from Tenera is much than the oil content you'll be getting from the local variety. So that means more oil, more money.
Yeah, sure.
So oil palm is regarded as green oil. It's just like you are having your own refinery.
Wow,
So you need that. And another advantage of planting the improved variety is that it has resistance to pests and diseases. So which saves you money treating your trees, fighting diseases and all that. So it's a whole lot of advantage attached to it. So having said that, you've established using the improved seedling, manage your farm very well, and your tree started fruiting in the second and third year. So one thing I would like to point out is that oil palm, there's money in oil palm. But if you want to get the money, you have to be ready to work. You cannot just harvest bunches and sell and make money. You will not make money that way. The only way you can make money in oil palm farming is harvest your bunches and process yourself.
Okay.
Because by processing, you'll be having at least 4 products to yourself. You'll be having palm oil, you'll be having palm kernel oil, you'll be having palm kernel cake, you'll be having fiber and palm kernel shell to sell. But in a case whereby you just harvest your bunches and sell, it's like you are selling a bundle of 1,000 naira, which is, the value is 100,000 naira, right? You are selling it in exchange for 30,000 naira. That's just like you are shortchanging yourself. So you have to put in place the processing mill to actually get money from it. I will give you a shocker. Oil palm price in the international market, because it's an international commodity. It's an international commodity. The prices are monitored internationally. The price of oil palm per ton for the past 10 years has been on increase. whereby the price of crude oil in the international market has been kind of going up and down like this, not stable, fluctuating. So that's another wonderful benefit. Just like cocoa also, cocoa prices has been on increase for over 15 years. No decrease. Every year it has been adding price. It has been adding money on it. So it's a worthwhile venture, and for somebody who wants a generational income, something that can sustain generation, I will advise you to go into tree crop, and I will advise oil palm.
I shall not go and look for land to start this oil palm.
Yeah, we look for land.
All right. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I know. Now, we know that machines have been. You talked about we processing ourselves.
Okay.
How do we do it? Because a lot of farmers out there want to purchase it, but it's quite expensive. So now, how do we process it locally? Or is there any organization or any aid to produce or provide the machines for farmers?
Yeah. So to say the fact, oil palm is expensive. Oil palm cultivation, oil palm plantation is a big man business. Just like you are going into the aviation industry. To purchase a plane, an aircraft, or to do some repair on aircraft is not cheap. But when you get into the aircraft industry, you get your money. It's not easy to start. It's not easy to process. The machines are expensive. And even to start, you need large expanse of land if you want to do it big time. So having said that, how do we go about it? Because most of our local farmers, they are smallholder farmers, they are resource poor, they don't have the economic capacity to purchase all these big machines. So the way to go about it is to start as a small scale. And there's something we call aggregating. Aggregating as a cooperative. With cooperative, you can achieve so much. Cooperative is just like bringing little resources together to achieve greater objectives. So let's say, for example, now we have smallholder farmers. We have like 5 to 20 oil palm farmers who are smallholder farmers, and they are having problem with purchasing machine, which is quite expensive. They can come together as a cooperative, bring their resources together. For example, if the machine is around 5 million naira, 20 of them, if they break it down, I think it will be around 400,000 naira. That is bearable. It's something they can do, and they will achieve their objective. That's one of the ways they can go about it. Another way they can go about it is by approaching NIFO. NIFO also fabricates for farmers. They fabricate locally fabricated equipment, processing equipment, and they give this equipment to cooperative. So another place they can go to is NCAM, National Center for Agricultural Mechanization. So National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, they deal with processing of production of machine locally. And when you buy your machine locally, they are more durable because they are made in Nigeria. They are rugged, and they are also kind of affordable to farmers. So those are the ways you can go about it. But most importantly, farmers should embrace the spirit of cooperative. They should come together, 20, 30, 40, 50 of them that are doing the same type of farming, like oil palm farmers now. They can come together, 30 of them, and buy machine. They can buy big machine where they contribute resources. So those are the way they can bypass the bottleneck, because it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive. It's understandable. And they cannot do it alone as a smallholder farmer. Let them just come together and bring resources together. Since they are doing the same thing, they can purchase it, find a place, and install it there, all of them that contributed the resources, they will have equal access to it to use the machine. And even the maintenance, they will know the maintenance cost will not be on only somebody. The maintenance cost will also be spread across. So is a way of bringing little resources to achieve big objective, big goals. So that's the way to go about it.
Hope you are following the discussion, and we're talking about palm oil, or oil palm as the case may be. He has said a lot about it. He has talked about the process of land advantages, the global, both local and global advantages attached to oil palm farming. We'll go on a short break, we'll come back, and then we'll go right into the marketing. We know it's another way of generating fun. So just sit right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm still with Mr. Lawal, Lusholai Lawal, and we're still talking about palm oil. Right now, before I went on the break, he talked about the cultivation. He talked about the advantages of having machine, in the processes. And then now we're going to talk about the marketing. You said palm oil is one of the trees that money grows on.
Yeah.
So
how do you market?
How do you market?
So the essence of oil production, not only agricultural production, is to market and to make sales. But as it stands now, it's quite unfortunate. Nigeria, that used to be a global leader, as I've said earlier, in the international market, we account for over 50% in the 1960s of the global market. Now, presently, as we have it now, Nigeria imports palm oil product to supplement our local demand. So that is to tell you that the issue of marketing problem for palm oil is not a problem. If you have it, you are 100% guarantee of sales. Because we've seen people who are even going into the adulteration of palm oil, because we don't produce enough to take care of our local demand. We heat palm oil. There is virtually no cooking you want to make without making use of oil. If you are not making use of palm oil, the red one, you are making use of palm oil, the refined one, the vegetable oil, which is also from palm oil. Because many people don't know the palm oil, the vegetable oil they are buying in the supermarket. The King's oil, the Power oil, they are made from palm oil. So the problem of marketing doesn't arise. And it has never happened that there will be glut of oil palm. You can notice glut for cassava. Maybe this year they will tell you, oh, many people produce too much cassava and cassava is wasting the market. Hardly. You will never hear it that palm oil is wasting in the market, because we still import palm oil. Many people don't know, from neighboring countries. So marketing palm oil, though as a producer, it's good to be proactive. Whenever you are producing, your target is to sell. So in this case, you look for the best off-taker, the best market for your product, the people that will offer you the best price. So, and we have a whole lot of them. And as I've said earlier, majority of oil palm or palm oil production takes place down south, and the prices tends to increase as you go further to the north. As I'm talking to you now, a ton of palm oil is around 1.3 million naira. A ton down south. If you go to Kano, a ton, that same ton of palm oil is around 1.6, 1.7. Yeah, and it's simple economics. They don't produce palm oil. It cannot grow there. So it's just like you shop for the best price for your product. Markets will come, demand will come. That one I can assure you. If you have palm oil, it's like you have money. There will always be one way or the other to spend it. So people will come for it. The only thing that will be left for you to do is to shop for the best price for yourself. And that can be done by using so many marketing windows we have. I will also advise our farmers to make use of the internet, the social media. The opportunities on social media for agriculture is so enormous. It cannot be overstated, because we have virtually everybody on the internet, on social media right now, and it will cost you next to nothing to advertise what you are selling there. So, and it's giving you like a wider reach. So make use of all marketing windows. You don't need to do much, but as somebody that is looking for the best price, you can step higher.